I'm Chillie Bob, 35 Tactical Wing, US Air Force, 2 Squadron Royal Australian Air Force, combat chef. My aircraft, Magpie with bombers, fast planes.
Where were you located?
Phan Rang.
And that's inland in Vietnam?
That is central, north-south Vietnam.
And how long were you stationed there for?
I had 1 year, 2 days in country, and my squadron took 285 hits in a row.
Right. My name's Peter Cochrane, referred to as Cocko, and I was a state member of Parliament for 10 years in the seat of Monero, but I also served in Vietnam during the 69-70 period as a platoon sergeant infantry. I also served with 161 Recce Flight on aerial reconnaissance, and also did some ordnance demolition, and served with 1 ARU, which is the 1st Reinforcement Unit, along with 8th Battalion Royal Australian Regiment. So I was an infantry platoon sergeant and served a full 12-month tour. I also had a tour of Vietnam on HMAS Sydney at an earlier stage. And I can say that the experience bonded all of those people that now enjoy the good company of the motorcycle club.
And Peter, where were you stationed in Vietnam?
I was stationed in Nui Dat in the Phuoc Tuy province for the entire tour of duty on both occasions.
Shut up, Jono. It's a take. G'day, I'm Agent. I'm a member of the Vietnam Veterans Motorcycle Club, and I served in the Vietnam War in 1967-68. I was a driver at Task Force headquarters, and I did 12 months, and I got injured, and I came home. And
where was Task Force headquarters?
at Nui Dat.
And where was that?
It was a province. It was in Phuoc Tuy province. It was a province that we were tasked to clear of Viet Cong or slow down the communist tide. And but even though I was a driver, we did a lot of other jobs too. We did other things other than driving. Because when the Task Force headquarters went out in the bush to a fire support base, we were tasked with joining the Defence and Employment Platoon and acting as infantry in defending the base. And that's where I got injured at Fire Support Base Coral.
What was your injury?
I got shot. And I came home and I didn't deal with life very well. And I didn't like society much for the way they treated me, and I was a baby raping grandma killer, and I couldn't figure out who had time to do that. But anyway, I kind of suffered for an awful long time until I eventually, about 10 years ago, went for treatment, and my life has turned around, and now I can be the person I am rather than the person I thought society wanted me to be.
Yeah. How old were you when you went to Vietnam?
I was 19.
How old are you now?
63.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Start talking.
Yep.
My name is Danny Burton, and I was in the army, and I was a radio operator in South Vietnam in 1970-71, and I was stationed at Vung Tau and Nui Dat.
And how old were you when you went to the Vietnam?
Actually, I had my 25th birthday in Vietnam.
Right.
Yeah.
And how old are you now?
I am 66.
Fantastic. And what are you doing here today?
We're on a charity ride to raise funds for Cooma and Canberra hospitals.
Thank you.
Right to
go.
Yeah, my name's Mick Wilson. I was in Vietnam 1971-72. Served around Vung Tau, doing escorts in trucks and stuff up and down, around through the province. Basically, that was about it.
How old were you when you went?
19 when I went, and came back from there. Then went to Malaya and Singapore for 2.5 years. Then back to Australia, and that was basically my military career. Never achieved any lofty heights in rank or anything. It's always in trouble. Not always. That's a lot. But yeah, and been with the Vietnam vets for 11 years now. Yeah, good bunch of guys, great fun, like-minded people. All feel the same way about things, so it's really easy to get on with, and they're great to have a good time.
Great, thank you.
Okay, my name's Tezza. I'm a member of the Federal Chapter of the VVMC, ex-RAN, joined the Navy in 1964 at the age of 15 and a half. Spent 12 months there, went on my first ship overseas. I was 16 and a half when I left. Had my 17th birthday, I was in Borneo and during the Indonesian confrontation, and also went to Vietnam. I was away on deployment for 7 months. I then went on to Sydney, spent 2.5 years on the Sydney, during which time they were running battalions up to Vung Tau. It was called the Vung Tau Ferry. I'd done 7 trips on it, and then I went ashore. Then I went done my last trip on the gun line on the HMAS Brisbane, where we were doing shore bombardment up in North Vietnam, and that was the last ship to do deployment in Vietnam, fire a shot in anger in the Navy. And that turret 52, turret 51, I'm sorry, is a forward turret, is the one that's at the War Memorial, and the bridge of the HMAS Brisbane is also there. So every ship I went on basically went to Vietnam.
And what did you do on the ship?
I was in the engineering department. I finished up down the boiler rooms, but when I was young I was in the turret. I was 16 when I was in the turret loading 4.5-inch shells.
Okay, thank you.
Is that enough?
Okay.
That's okay.
Yep, and so your name?
David Russell.
And do people know you as David Russell?
Oh yes, and but my club name is Munjang.
Munjang.
Because I had a friend in Sydney that was Aboriginal, and apparently it's Aboriginal for slow walking tortoise. Because I walk funny, he called me Munjang for years, and so that name's just stuck with me.
It sounds like a good story. And so you went to Vietnam?
Yes, I went to Vietnam in 1971.
And how old were you?
And I was only 19.
You were only 19?
Only 19.
And someone wrote a good song about that.
Oh yeah, I know.
And what did you do in Vietnam? What was your job?
I was with the Signals Corps, and I was a rigger, and I just worked on radio towers and just maintained them and redirected the aerials and stuff like that out to fire support bases and all that. I myself was at fire support base Nui Dat.
Fantastic. And how long were you in Vietnam for?
I was in Vietnam 11 months. I was meant to be there for 12 months, but I came back with the first AIF. That's when they all pulled out on the 18th of November 1971.
So
they kept a small group of blokes there until 73, but the whole lot pulled out in November 71.
So you were there right at the end?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
By that time, it had degenerated from a war to the Southeast Asia War Games. Yeah.
So it was good to be home.
Oh yeah, yes, it was. Yeah.
And why are you part of this motorcycle club?
Because I just like being with the blokes, and we have good fun. Yeah, we do. I like the camaraderie, and we all have that. Not all of us now, but quite a percentage have that war experience, having served in the theatre of war, and it just draws you close for some reason. I don't know why, but it just does. Like you get some blokes who are in the police force, and some blokes might be nurses or doctors, and they have experiences to talk about and all that sort of thing. Whereas blokes in the army, they just sort of congregate. I don't know, not the army so much, but returned servicemen from active service. They have a sort of unity.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much.
Work on that tonight then. You got kids?
Yes.
How many?
2.
Boy and a girl? Boys?
2 boys.
2 boys? Lucky girl. You'll be glad one day that you never had girls. Believe me, I had 3 boys.
Come on, Dimples. Talk up.
Sorry?
Talk. Speak.
Oh, sorry.
Yep.
Okay. Ron Sheargold, also known as Dimples, and have been known like that since I was 17 when I first joined the Navy. I went to Vietnam on HMAS Derwent in 1966, and actually we were off Vung Tau when Long Tan occurred. So I never went there or anything, never went ashore, but we were there when Long Tan actually occurred. I'd just come from Borneo. We'd been on patrol in Borneo during the Indonesian confrontation, and when that finished, we went to Vietnam, and I was 18, as you do. And yeah, it was a very interesting life. I started off in the Navy as a young stoker, and worked my way through the branch, became a fitter and turner, which we called a mechanician in the Navy, and then I became I got a diploma of engineering and became a highly qualified tradesman, and then I changed over and became an engineer.
So did you know Tezza?
Yes, Terry and I were in the Navy together, and in 1968 Terry and I did our driver's course together at HMAS Albatross, and we never saw each other until he joined the bike club. Never saw each other again.
How amazing.
Yeah, and then we were sitting there one day reminiscing, and he dropped it on me. Oh yeah, I did my driver's course and such and such. So did I. So we ended up getting our service certificates out. There it all was. So yeah, and we both changed quite dramatically since then.
Oh, so you didn't recognise each other?
Neither. No, neither of us did. So, but we're in the same branch, so we had to be able to. Somewhere our paths must have crossed, and we finally figured it out.
Fantastic. Thank you, Dimples.
That's